So now that I have the soffit finish right up here, it's time to start working on the fascia. It's going to look so much better, it'll look more finished when I finish the fascia.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey everybody, this is Bill with Live Simple, Live Free, and it's time for me to get the fascia done. And it doesn't look very good the way it is now. I know that. It just is so unfinished. In fact, I'm so embarrassed that until it's finished, I can't even fascia. You're welcome. Now, as I've told you before, I've done this work for decades, but I haven't really done anything since '08 when I quit in the construction work. And at that time, we always used aluminum fascia. And you could buy the aluminum fascia already pre-bent and ready to go. It was very easy to use. You just cut it to length and put it up there. Nowadays, when I went to go buy some aluminum fascia, I couldn't find it. It seems like that vinyl is the new thing. And the only thing that you can buy now is the vinyl, and it's all shaped and ready to go. I used the vinyl fascia on my shed that I built last year. I didn't like it much. I want to go back to aluminum, but I can't find any pre-made, pre-bent aluminum fascia, so I'm going to have to do it the hard way. I'm going to have to buy some white aluminum stock and bend it myself on what's called a brake. So this machine right here is what's known as a brake, or an aluminum brake. It's basically a machine that allows you to bend aluminum and put very straight right angle bends in it. You just put the metal in here. I'll show you how this works, but you just put the metal in here, clamp that down to hold it, and then you bend it with this. I've never owned one of these because they're really expensive, in the neighborhood of $800 to $1,000 or something like that, and that was years ago, so I don't even know what they are now. But I use this all the time. Even if I had the preformed aluminum fascia, I would still use this because this allows me to shape aluminum into all kinds of customized shapes for around windows and all kinds of things like that. So I'd usually just go and rent one of these for a day or two when I was doing aluminum. This one belongs to a friend of Barry's who is a contractor, and he's graciously allowed me to use it, and I'm very thankful for that. So when you do any kind of renovation work or add an addition to an existing house, it can sometimes be a challenge to figure out how to make the transition between the old work and the new work. And here's the old work, and this was used to be the fascia where the rain gutter was, and it comes down below the new work here. And so what I had to do was put in this board here, and then I put in that, so I would have something to attach this to, and then I need to fill in another little piece of the vinyl there, and then I have to wrap all of this with aluminum. And that's what I used the brake for. It used to be when I bought the pre-made fascia. You can see this is the pre-made fascia. It's already bent around the bottom. But I would use the brake to custom make metal that would fit here. So let me show you how that works. Now this is what's called aluminum coil stock. This is 10 feet long, 10 inches wide, and you can see that it comes in brown on one side and white on the other, so you can choose either color when you're doing this. Now you can certainly cut this with tin snips, and I'll be doing a lot of that, but it's actually pretty easy to also cut it with an X-Acto knife. 14 inches. So all I do is just score it with the knife. And then bend it backwards and it comes right off. Got to take this off. See, very easy to cut with a knife. Now for the piece that I need for that little end, this is too wide, so I need to cut it down this width. Another way to cut it is in the break. So I have my mark here and here. I'm going to clamp it down. And then use that as my straight edge. Just like that. So now I'm going to start actually forming the piece that I need. See how that works? Nice and straight and even. Nice bend there. Now I got to put a bend on here to go around the corner. See how that works? How I can fabricate different shapes? So now you can see that I have this piece custom fabricated to slide right up in here. And cover that up very nicely. So now I've got this piece in. I also need to do up here around the corner. This is a short little piece. Here's the long piece, and then there's a little one in there. So I'm just going to take this out and replace it with new, and then wrap it around this corner. Now I can basically just trace this piece, but leave the extra part here. So now I had this piece that came out of there. I traced it, and I left in the part that was missing. Bends around the bottom, bend here to go up that way. And there we go. The problem here, of course, that this is a different color because this is a little faded, but I'm hoping that once I wash this off, it'll be a little closer to a match. The only other option would be to replace the fascia on this whole thing, and I'm not going to do that. Folds around here, so this piece will lap right to the corner. Usually I would have tried to have this, well, this one was bent out underneath. Usually I would try to have this bent around the corner, but the gutter is going here, and this gutter is going to come right here, and after that I'm going to put a piece like this up underneath it here and down into the gutter to keep all the water going directly into the gutter. So now this piece with the bend here, this is the one that I usually buy pre-made from Lowe's. Comes in 10-foot lengths. You just take it and stick it up. But if you have a break like I do, it's really not that big a deal to make these. And so this goes up here, and that end piece bends around the front, so that overlaps it and completely covers the wood. Now, in the last video when I did the soffit, I got a number of comments about how flimsy that system seemed because there was only one nail in each one, and you see the gaps here. And a lot of people were saying, well, no wonder it blows off in the wind. That's because this is the completion of the retainer system, or what holds this in place. It's not complete. The soffit is not complete until you put the fascia on, because this piece right here brackets this, wraps around underneath, holds that up, and blocks off all of these spots where wasps could get in. So after you put that up there, then it's completely enclosed and completely held in place. So I just put it up like that. It goes up underneath of the drip edge and around the bottom. Before I completely nail it in place, I just want to make sure that the corner is correct. Yep, that looks good. So I'll put a few nails in here. Of course, you won't even see those nails because the gutter is going to go here. And now you can see how the corner is nice and straight. This piece bends underneath about that far. This piece laps over top, makes a nice straight corner, and completely encloses it from the weather. And now you can also see from underneath that this end is inside the F-strip, and this end is underneath of where the soffit bends around. That completely holds it in place. There's no way that it can move, even in high winds. I've never had one of these come off in high winds. So now I put this piece on because I want the overlap to go around the corner to be underneath, and then this piece will come on top of that and come right to the edge. So now this piece goes on top, and it layers on top of that and on top of this. So it's now been a few days since I've been able to work on this. Our recliner came in for our RV, so we installed that. You saw that. And then right after that it started snowing, and we've had a couple of days of snow and ice. As you can see there's still some snow up on the roof. But it's starting to melt now, so I can get back to work. But we got another storm coming in tomorrow evening that's supposed to drop probably another 4 inches of snow on us. And so we have a little bit of a problem here that I want to take care of right now while the weather will still allow it. Normally I would finish all the fascia before I started doing the gutters, but as you can see right up here, all the fascia is not yet finished. But we have a problem with ice building up on our steps, so I'm going to go ahead and put in one piece of gutter right now to stop doing that. So right in here this morning we had a very large chunk of ice from water that dripped down from here right onto our steps and our porch, our sidewalk here, our little temporary wooden sidewalk. It's very dangerous with that ice there, so I want to put up just one gutter right here just to protect that piece of sidewalk from getting water dripping on it, which turns into ice. Now normally I could put up a gutter by myself, but it would require me to nail or screw a block over there to set the gutter on top of when I lift up the other end. And I don't like to do that because then it leaves holes in my fascia. So whenever I can get help to do this, I like to do that. You ready?
Now let me get it exactly in the right spot. Okay, it's in the right spot right now. Oh, you're moving it. Okay, there you go.
Come on down.
Yeah. Is that okay? It's gonna sink a little. Okay. I did it. I did it. And I think I put it exactly where you wanted it, hon. Take that. That look right?
Yep.
Good. Oh, it already started dripping.
Yep.
This is also going to help underneath the
It's what?
This is also going to help under the mudroom. It will keep this water from all falling right there.
Okay, there you go. Didn't she a trooper? Thank you, dear. So now we...
Is that everything you needed right now?
That's it,
okay.
yeah.
It's not dripping.
So now we have the gutter protecting this. And for right now, it'll all run, because it runs downhill, it'll all be dripping over there. But that doesn't matter. I can put in a downspout later. But at least this is protecting all of this down here.
Awesome.
Yep. Now there are several different kinds of gutter hangers. I think this one is the best. It's a little more expensive, but you see how this bends around right here. That slides into that right there. You can see this one is slid up underneath of there. That locks that in place. And then this slides down over the top of that. That part there slides down over that, and then you screw in the screw, and that holds it in actually quite nicely. So here then, I want these every 2 feet, so I've got a mark right there. So I'll slide that up inside of that lip, and then this goes down over there. Then I just screw this in like that. And that'll hold it in place. So I need to cut the angle for the top of the fascia where they meet at the peak. And I'm going to use this is called a speed square, and this is not just a square. It's got all kinds of numbers and figures on here that work very well for many different things. I know that this is a 3/12 pitch on the roof, which means for every 12 inches it goes out, it drops 3 inches. So this right here, I don't know if you can see this, but this says common, and over here is a number 3. That means 3/12. So what I'm going to do is put this right there at the top of my cut. I bring this out until the 3 lines up right there. See that right there, and 3. And then I make a line here, and this is my 3/12 pitch right there. So now I can just cut it off, and then it'll be perfect for the top angle of where the fascia comes together in the peak, and I'll show you that in a minute. 3/12 pitch. Now up here you always have to have an overlap to keep the weather out, and you want to lap it in such a way that you try to hide the seam. So most of the traffic is going to come from over there. That's where the driveway and the sidewalk is, so I'm lapping it this way. So you can see the 3/12 pitch cut that I put on there, which is straight up and down. And by lapping it this way, when you're standing over here and you look at it that way, the seam will virtually disappear. When you look at it this way, you'll be able to see the seam, but it's straight up and down. Just like that. So I now have the soffit and the fascia finished. I have that one piece of gutter across the door to protect the steps from the ice. That was my main goal here because it was dangerous. So now that I have that done, I've got the eaves all enclosed and I have that one piece of gutter on there. I'm going to go back inside and continue working in there. The rest of the gutter doesn't matter until I get a chance to do it later. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. Live simple, live free. You be blessed.